You need more leaders, but your leadership development efforts just aren't paying off. Well, stay tuned because today I'm going to share with you the 5 most common leadership development mistakes I see organizations make and help you evaluate your efforts so you can increase your impact. Hey guys, this is Mac Lake bringing you tips, tools, and techniques for developing leaders. You're spending time, energy, and manpower trying to develop leaders in your organization, but your leadership pipeline remains dry and devoid of any new potential leaders. Why aren't you getting the results you want? Well, over the years, I've seen 5 major reasons that churches or organizations' leadership development efforts break down. Often, we ignore the failed results and we keep on doing the same old thing the same old way and getting the same old results. Something's got to change. So today, I want to help you evaluate your leadership development efforts by giving you the 5 reasons I see leadership development failing in various organizations. So, let's jump in. Reason number 1, you're trying to build leaders too fast. You know, we all want leadership development to be fast, easy, and linear, but it's just not. Leadership development takes time. It's slow, it's messy, and it's customized to the learner. You know, true leadership development takes time. If you think about it, think about Jesus. Jesus himself spent 3 years developing the 12 men that would take over his mission. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to take you 3 years to develop every potential leader, but it does take more than one 3-hour class. You see, when we rush development, we shortcut the process and we don't get the results that we're looking for. In other words, we might share the information that the leaders need to know, but we don't see the transformation taking place in their life. When leadership development is done fast, it's shallow and it fails to shape the skills of those that we're trying to develop in the way that we really want it to impact them. So it's important, instead of just giving them the information they need and throwing them into a leadership position, that we take time, give them time to practice and develop the skills they need for the position that we're developing them for. So here's the first evaluation question. Are we trying to develop leaders too fast? Now, there's a second reason. Second reason that I see organizations not getting the results they want is you're not using a reproducible model. If you survey your staff, it's likely you're going to discover that each one is doing leadership development in their own way. Left to their own, they had to come up with something, so they did. So everybody's using different approaches. One group is using a shadowing approach. Somebody else is using turbo group. Somebody else is using classroom approach. Somebody else is using orientation. But it's not likely that everybody in your organization is using the same approach to leadership development. So, as a result, there's varying levels of success of development in the organization. And nobody's ever stopped and just asked, hey, what are the best practices for developing leaders in our industry? I'd recommend that you slow down, you communicate with your team about the approach they're using, collaborate by sharing best practices, and then coordinate an aligned approach to developing leaders in your organization. This is going to enable you to put together a reproducible model that you can use across all departments. Now, here's what I've discovered. When leadership development becomes intentional, it becomes reproducible. And when it becomes reproducible, it becomes unstoppable. And isn't that what we want in our organizations? So, put together an intentional model that's reproducible across all of your departments. Now, here's the second evaluation question. Is every department in our organization using a reproducible model for developing leaders? Reason number 3. You're building your development on the shoulders of one person. You know, we love it when there's somebody in the organization that is a leadership development machine. It comes natural to them. They're passionate about it. There's a constant outpour of new leaders coming up behind them. It's a huge benefit to the organization until that person leaves. And when they leave, all of a sudden, leadership development comes to a halt. And that's when you realize that you had a leadership developer, but you didn't have a leadership development culture. And what we want is a leadership development culture. You see, when you have a leadership development culture, there is a constant outflow of new leaders being produced in the organization. So here's the third evaluation question. How many leaders are reproducing leaders in our organization? Now, the fourth reason that I see leadership development efforts failing is your training isn't adding value to your leaders. I hear this comment all the time. Hey, we've tried to get leaders together for development, but they stop showing up over time. Listen carefully. People value what adds value to them. So we got to stop blaming them for not showing up and take a look at what we're delivering to them. Was our training boring? Was it irrelevant? Was it all lecture? Did it violate adult learning principles? Could they apply the principles that we're teaching them at work, at home, as well as ministry? You see, we've got to make it valuable. When you make it valuable, they won't want to miss it. You see, our goal isn't just to train them to turn our ministry widgets. That's one of the biggest mistakes we make. Our goal is to teach our leaders to live a biblical lifestyle of leadership. So here's the fourth evaluation question. Are we teaching our leaders to turn ministry widgets, or are we teaching them to live a biblical lifestyle of leadership? Now, the fifth reason that I see churches and organizations struggling with leadership development is their training is not accessible. Most leadership development I've seen is offered on-site at a church or company offices. Offering training at one time, one location, it's just restrictive. It's restrictive. It inhibits certain people from participating. Leadership development will have a broader impact when it's delivered anytime, any place, at any pace, which means less control on our behalf. And that's scary for a lot of people. But it's going to require more leaders willing to invest themselves in reproducing new leaders. But I'm going to tell you something. When you decentralize leadership development, you will begin to see an exponential movement of a development of new leaders. So here's the fifth evaluation question. Are we making leadership development accessible so that people can be trained anytime, at any place, at any pace? Guys, if you're not getting the results you want, then I want to recommend that you just take a time out. Get your team together. Watch this video together and discuss the questions that I've provided in the description below. Evaluate yourself using these 5 questions and make the necessary adjustments. Allowing your leadership pipeline to remain dry, it's just not an option, and it's damaging to the future impact of your mission. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. What's kept leadership development efforts from working in churches or organizations that you've served in? Leave your comments below, and if you like this video, make sure you click the like button. I would love for you to subscribe and share this with your team, and make sure again that you take advantage of the discussion questions provided in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.